The greatest strategic failure in marketing is the linear projection trap, believing that growth is a straight line, while ignoring the biological and cultural reality that human intent is a seasonal pulse that requires a temporal equilibrium system to survive.
So, let's begin where the panic always does. We're going to treat this like a crime scene, a moment of stillness that, for so many companies, feels like an absolute catastrophe. Let's call it the silence of July.
And this is the question that haunts every single boardroom, right? You just had a killer Q2. Everything's up and to the right. The momentum feels completely unstoppable, and then suddenly, it just vanishes. The phones stop ringing, the lead flow dries up, and the panic starts to set in. Why does this keep happening, year after year?
You know this chart, I know you do. It's more than just data, it's an emotional trigger. That Q2 peak, yeah, that's the celebration. That's the victory lap after months of grinding. But then your eye drops down to that July trough. See, that's not a data point, that's a feeling. That's the moment the fear kicks in and everyone starts looking for someone to blame.
This right here captures that internal chaos perfectly. The questions start flying and they are always the wrong ones. Did the algorithm change? Is our product failing? What did marketing do wrong? And what's our response? We panic. We start tweaking ad copy, we double down on spend, and we burn through capital trying to fight a ghost.
So let me be really clear. Here is the truth. The problem isn't your product. It's not your team, and it's not even your strategy. The problem is your clock. You're operating on a linear timeline, but you're living in a cyclical world. You were trying to sell to a brain that has gone into hibernation mode. You're fighting the biological calendar itself. This isn't a product failure, it's a failure of temporal intelligence.
And that leads us directly to the real culprit. The source of all this panic, all this wasted money, it's not the market. It's a flawed model of thinking. It's what we call the linear projection trap.
This trap, well, it's a spreadsheet fantasy, isn't it? We take that amazing growth from January to March, we draw a beautiful straight line up and to the right, and then we build our entire company's operational plan around it. It's so seductive because it's simple, but it's incredibly dangerous because it's completely detached from human reality.
And the disconnect between that projection and reality is just staggering. I mean, look at this. Our spreadsheet tells us to hire more salespeople, but our customers are literally at the beach. The model demands aggressive new sales quotas, but corporate budgets are frozen for the summer. We see that dip and try to force growth by pumping money into ads, but we are just shouting into a void because customer interest is hibernating. We are flying a plane with a broken altimeter.
And look, this isn't just a strategic mistake anymore. Now, it's a massive financial one. The whole growth at all costs era, it's over. Investors don't care about your vanity metrics, they demand capital efficiency. Burning millions just to stay flat in July is a huge red flag. The smart money is now on the company that knows how to spend wisely to set up a massive harvest in September.
Okay, so how do we escape this trap? We have to stop staring at our own dashboards. We need to start looking for the hidden patterns in actual human behavior. We need to learn to feel the pulse of intent.
The key here is to understand what psychologists call the fresh start effect. Humans are basically hardwired to seek transformation at specific moments in time, these temporal landmarks. Just think about it. New Year's resolutions, the beginning of a new quarter, the whole back-to-school season. During these windows, our natural resistance to change is at its absolute lowest. These are the moments when people are actively looking for new tools, new systems, and new solutions.
Understanding this requires a fundamental pivot in your strategy. During those low-intent summer months, the brain isn't really looking for an efficiency tool. It's looking for inspiration. So your marketing has to shift from direct response to brand vision. You're not trying to close a deal in July. You are planting the seeds of an idea. Then, when the high-intent months arrive in the fall, the brain flips. It wants efficiency. It wants solutions. That's when you shift back to direct response and you harvest the results from the seeds you planted all summer. But how do you actually quantify this, right? How do you turn this biological rhythm into a mathematical model you can actually use? Well, you need a Rosetta Stone. You need something to translate the chaotic language of your revenue data.
The tool for this is called time series decomposition. It's a method used in signal processing, and honestly, it's way simpler than it sounds. We just mathematically separate your revenue into 3 distinct layers. First, you have the baseline. That's your true underlying growth. Second, you have the periodic wave. That's the predictable seasonal pulse, the spike in January and the dip in July. And finally, you have what's left over, anomalies, or black swan events like a pandemic that break the pattern. By isolating that wave, you can finally see the true health of your business, completely free from all that seasonal noise.
And this leads to a really powerful concept. Let's say your average sales cycle is 90 days. The awareness you generate in June isn't for June, it's the direct ancestor of your September revenue. The consideration you build in July and August, that feeds the harvest. So when a company panics and cuts its ad spend in June because conversions are low, they are not saving money. They are killing their September sales. They are literally eating their own seed corn.
This changes everything about your strategic objective. During these quiet months, your goal is not to force conversions. Your goal is to stockpile intent. You are building a massive reservoir of brand awareness and trust that you can tap into the very moment the buying season kicks off. Which brings us to the masterstroke. This is the move that separates the true market leaders from everyone else. It's the counterintuitive strategy that creates a massive, durable competitive advantage.
Okay, this is the aha moment. While your competitors are panicking in the summer and slashing their budgets, you're going to do the exact opposite. They wait for the high-intent months, and then they all fight over the same expensive clicks, driving their customer acquisition costs through the roof. You, on the other hand, you invest during the low-intent months. You build brand awareness cheaply when the ad market is quiet. You are no longer reacting to the market, you are shaping it. You're cultivating future high LTV customers while your competition is asleep. That is temporal efficiency.
You have to remember this. Market leadership is won by the brands that own the off-season. Intent is a resource you cultivate in the winter to harvest in the autumn. It isn't found, it's grown.
So let's turn this strategy into action. Here's the blueprint for taking these principles and actually implementing them. This is how you stop being a victim of the calendar and start becoming the master of the clock. Okay, there are 4 core steps to temporal mastery. First, architect. You have to analyze your multi-year baseline, not the little 30-day ripple. See the big wave. 2, engineer. Run counter-cyclical campaigns. If your customers aren't buying, your job is to make them believe. 3, automate. Use a smart grade for your ad bids that knows exactly when to attack and when to pull back. And 4, measure. Use full-cycle ROI. Stop judging your off-season work with on-season metrics. It doesn't make sense. When you put this system into place, the mindset shift is profound. That July slump is no longer a source of panic. You see it for what it truly is. It's the quiet period of cultivation right before the inevitable harvest. You are no longer a victim of time, you are its architect. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? It's that we've been taught the wrong shape of growth. We see a straight line on a chart and we just accept it as the truth. But the real truth is this: growth isn't a straight line you discover, it's a rhythm you learn. And once you learn it, you can't unsee it.